What up, what up, what up? Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another mobile Master the NEC. My name is Paul Abernathy, and welcome as I drive into the office and go over some thoughts over the weekend and just let you know how things are going. So, it's kind of funny. As an electrician for over 30-some years, the thought of, even back in the day, the thought of a new house, nice, fresh wood, getting in and being able to do everything that I want to do is just the thought of doing all that is just, awesome to remember back in the days when you could do all that. But there is something that I never look forward to. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, as far as whether or not it's back in the day or today, there are some things that you just don't like, that I just don't like to do. And I'm going to tell you what that is today. I do not like painting. I don't like painting a little bit. I don't like painting a lot. I don't like painting whole rooms. I don't like painting touch-up. I don't like painting at all. Well, one of the reasons is because I'm not good at it. And I know you're thinking, well, you're just putting paint on a wall. How bad can you be? I don't know. I loathe it. I don't like painting at all. I don't know how you guys and gals feel about it, but I cannot stand painting. It's just one of those things where I just can't stand it. Everything about painting. So this weekend, we're selling the house, and I'm doing some touch-up paint. We had some sheetrock cracks that normally happens over houses that settle, especially here in Texas, and just wanting to take care of the cracks and tidy up, make things look nice. And I had some sheetrock pops where they pop the sheetrock, where the nails pop, and you got to repair that. That's pretty common here. Pretty common everywhere, but that's pretty common here, especially with the ceilings like we have here, the houses, all different angles and all this kind of stuff. So pretty common. Had all that fixed. Guys did a great job, matching up the texture, knockdown, and all that kind of stuff. And so we're just trying to paint. And a lot of times when somebody does a house, they'll leave they'll let you leave an extra can of paint or something like that. But of course, we weren't the original owners of this house, so it long since was gone, and nobody knew what kind of paint was being used. And matching it up ain't as easy as you think. All right, I'll go get some paint, swatches, card decks, get them, the card decks that have the different colors in them, and I'll get it'll match. Now, it's not that easy. So this weekend I painted, and so the first thing I did was take a piece of the ceiling, took where a luminaire was, recess can, pulled a recess can down, and was able to cut a piece of the ceiling off the paint so I could take it in and get it spectrometer, whatever it is, and they were going to match the paint. Okay, so I got it. Came back. Didn't match. It was too dark. So, the first one I did was the wall. So I was patching up the wall. All right, did that. It didn't match. It was too dark. It was obvious. Sample was just the same color when I took the sample, but I only needed to have about the size of a dime, and that's all he said they needed. All right, so then that didn't match. So then I was going to do the ceiling, and so I pulled a recess can down. The first one I did, I pulled a cover plate off and got a piece behind a switch. You couldn't see it. So then I got a recess down and got a piece off the ceiling. Actually, I take that back. I was going to do a recess can. I actually was around a smoke alarm. I pulled the smoke alarm, and inside the smoke alarm was just a square box, so you had plenty underneath there that I could get a sample. So I got a sample of that, took that in. Bought that back, painted the ceiling. Not even close. It was dark. I mean, it was obviously. Now, granted, I guess the paint over time, can change a little bit. But I mean, it was night and day. It was obvious it was too dark. It was standing out like a sore thumb. Of course, when you're patching, it grows, right? Every time you paint a little bit more, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Next thing you're like, crap, I should just do the whole ceiling. I mean, and that's probably the best thing to do, except for this house. You know, it's not a little house. This is there'd be a lot of ceiling. And I ain't into painting a lot of ceiling, especially since all of this was simply to some cracks. You know, I had some sheetrock prepared, things like that, but it grew bigger, sadly. Okay, so that's what makes it more noticeable. That's my fault. I am not a painter. I am not that handy unless it's electrical. I can fix stuff, but yeah, I prefer not to. Anyway, didn't match. Looks terrible. So then I go and I use some swatches, and I put some swatches up there, and I found one that I think looks as close. You know, again, it's all best relevant to the lighting and crap like that. So you think you're getting one that looks, this looks right. This looks close. So I'll send the wife out to Lowe's, and we're going to get that quart made up. And bear in mind, these are like $24 a quart, $25 a quart each time. Probably the smart thing to do is get samples and then see if it's right. I get it. Didn't do the smart thing. So then it comes back, and so one is, then now the one that I get is too light. Then it's lighter. So I mix the two together to try to temper it out a little bit and take the dark one and mix a little of the light with it, see if I can make my own mix, my own little mixture there. And it's still not right. So I've got this thing. So anyway, I was on the internet last night, the old interweb there, and I said, it's got to be a spectrometer, something that can identify colors in paint. And I found this little thing called NEC, and I'm getting so I ordered this thing called the NEC 2 NEC Mini 2. The reviews on YouTube are great from painters doing a demo. The reviews were pretty good on the thing. I'm just trying to get in the ballpark, right? Because I'm just either too light or too dark, and so rather than just paint, keep painting. And now it's going to be harder, because I know what they say about touch-ups is you're better off to just do the whole wall, or the whole ceiling. But I'm not in my game. If somebody buying the house wants to repaint the whole thing, ain't no damn way I'm painting the whole house to sell the house. If somebody buys it, that's theirs. They own it. Let them put their own stamp on it by their own color, whatever. I'm not painting the whole damn house. That ain't happening. So I bought this little thing. It arrives today. Now I can see where this is. A painter online has a YouTube channel, has over 500,000 subscribers. Pretty decently well-known painter. Swears by it, and he's done some videos on it. Now I can see where this would come in handy for a lot of things that I like to do, especially with graphic design, because of images and logos that we make for websites and things that we do, because this also will identify the hex codes or CYKM or whatever. So that's pretty, I can see where it'll come in handy for that. But what the main claim to fame with it is that it actually has all of the paint codecs in it, the codecs from all the major manufacturers, Valspar, Behr, all the major names, right? So what happens is you can scan it. It will go through and find the closest match from the different manufacturers. Of course, I go to Lowe's, so Valspar, or I can go to Home Depot, it's Behr, and I don't care either one, so I'll select those. And you supposedly put it up to it, and it supposedly does better on lighter colors. But anyway, I'm going to try it tonight. I'll let you know how it works. For me, it's worth $60 because I got other uses for it. Now, sometimes with $60, you're sitting there thinking, that's too good to be true for $60 that it's going to actually pay. But it's just a colorizer. It identifies the color. It has this camera spectrum that you put up to it. Let's see. I tell you, the testing it does with swatches online is pretty darn accurate. And if it ain't right on, it is pretty darn close. At least get you in the ballpark, right, for shades and, you know, that type of colors and all. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get into the ballpark because I'm either too light or too dark, or heck, man, for all I know, I might not even be in the same. I might not be able to in the same color spectrum. To be honest with you, it's just hard to tell with the light. All right, you know, so I'm at least I'm gonna get somewhere in the ballpark, and I'm hoping this little device helps me out. If not, it's Amazon. What's the beautiful thing about Amazon is it's no haggle, no questions, return, right? I don't like it, I just, boom, do an Amazon return. They'll come and get that thing, or we just drop it into wherever they say take it. And, you know, not a problem. But I can see where this thing could have some other uses besides me trying to match up paint, right? And I'm really needed for the paint, but I got tons of other uses that I can use this little thing for. So, and the painters, you know, like I said, the painters that online that use it, and these are painters, right? People that do this for a living, they know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. You might think paint is just easy. It's not. It's sloppy, nasty, you know, and I know it's all about the prep, right? People say taping everything off and all this kind. I get it. But you know how we are. We like to get it done. So, you know, it's just, I don't know. But if this thing helps, we'll see. It's actually, like I said, it's called NEC, N-I-X, and it's called the Mini 2. They have a Pro, and then they have a spectrometer or whatever that analyzes. That's probably a lot nicer. But all I can tell you is the paint sampling at Lowe's didn't work. It was either too dark or too light. And again, this is supposed to be based on the little sample that I took. And it's not. Now, in all fairness, since I took a sample from underneath the smoke alarm, maybe it hadn't washed out a little bit because of the light in a room or something, right? I'll be fair, but it didn't, I wasn't real impressed with it. Their spectrometer or whatever at Lowe's, you know. So anyway, we're going to give this a shot. And supposedly the deal with it is that, you know, you can do it in places like right next to where we're going to be painting, right? And it will actually be able to match up the closest match to the paint right there, right where we need it. And so that's going to be interesting. Now, of course, I'm going to put it through some paces. I might do a little video on it because it looks cool. Especially, you know, electrician, if we're doing a job and we mess up some paint, think about this. You don't cut a panel right. You're going in doing a remodel or maybe not service change or service something, and you go pull off a cover and it rips off the paint. And you got an owner there who's going to be wicked ticked off at you, right? Okay, well, I could use this little wiggy diggy and I can color match it the best I can for touching up their paint. They wouldn't even know the difference. Get me close enough to it. The neat thing about it is you don't have to actually pick the brand. It'll pick through all of the brands in its database to find the closest match, and then you can go and, you know, if it comes back Behr, I'll go to Home Depot. If it comes back Valspar, I'll go to Lowe's. Depending on if Sherwin-Williams is in there, all this type of stuff, you know. More paints is all in there. So anyway, it's neat for $60. Neat little thing to have if you're worried about touching up something. So I'll let you folks know. You probably heard about it already. Some of you might have. But I'll do a follow-up, maybe a little review on it, see how it does. But I can tell you, if it nails the paint on that ceiling, it was worth it. Because buying 3 jars, a quart of 3 blended specialty paints and spending $75, about $25 a quart is what that costs, you know, approximately. So, hey, to me, it's worth it. Now, they say you can bring back those sample, you know, those color matched ones if it didn't match up. Yeah, but I'm not worrying about all that. But it'd be interesting. So, NEC, N-I-X, Mini 2, go on YouTube, look it up. If you need to color match something, I'll let you know how it works and do a follow-up to it. But again, I can see where electrically, if I'm cutting in something or I mess up somebody's paint, then I can be able to, maybe I'm changing a luminaire out, and maybe it had a medallion around it. Now I'm putting up something else and is white around it, and I use this little spectrum thing or this little colorizer thing, and I can find the paint they used, and whether I do it or not, because an electrician, I don't want to paint, but at least I can let them know the paint. That might be a neat little service, right? And here's a shout out to all painters. When you paint a house or something, come up with your own little business card with your paint, with the paints on it, and tape it on the inside of a cabinet, or put it on the electrical panel, on the cover, paint it, something, so that the next homeowner knows. I know that the typical thing is to leave a little extra paint, but, people say, well, people repaint the house, Paul. It's not going to make it. That's not all the way true, because I've had my house is 14 years old. We bought it in 2014. It was built prior. There was no paint left, and we haven't repainted. So it would have been nice to know what the paint was. The homeowners didn't repaint it. The one that had it, because they only had it a couple years before we got it. But there was no paint sitting around. Okay, so if it had a little card put in the cabinet, put on somewhere saying this is the paint, that would be awesome. Yeah, I get it. Maybe not. People did something people won't do, but I'm just saying. So maybe this thing is a perfect little solution. I hear painters raving about it. So I got it. It's going to be coming today. We'll see what it looks like. All right, folks. Till next time, stay safe. God bless. Not much of an electrical episode today, but hey, just want to keep you updated on what's going on. Take care. Bye.